Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, everybody? Eternal Fire here, and today I got the Guardian Druid Mage Tower completed. Yet again, I just had an awesome time doing it. It was a ton of fun. Definitely, I think, probably what I enjoy doing most in the game right now. I just love a personal challenge like that. I always have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a playthrough of the video of me killing it, and I'm going to explain how I did it and what, my strategy as I went along. And then what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you like my gear setup. So as you're going to see, it's less than optimal. So I'm item level 909 equipped on my Guardian. It's just an alt relax. I have 33% crit, if that tells you anything, and only 9% versatility. My trinkets are versatility trinkets. I have intellect on my cloak because I normally play this character as resto for keystones. Mastery on my rings. If I was going to be optimizing this, okay, obviously I'd be going with versatility on my rings, agility on the cloak, and then heavy hide. More for cool than anything, but mark of the trained soldier is what I have there. My weapons are 922, and then as far as food and everything, I used, what is this guy doing standing on top of me? For food and everything, I used obviously Flask of the Seventh Demon for the agility. I used Drums of Fury for lust. In the second phase, I used Potion of Old War for my second pot, and then Prolonged Power for my initial pot. And then as far as food goes, I was using Bear Tartar, and that just gives you a speed boost whenever you kill something. And I highly recommend going with that, and I'll tell you why as we go through the video. So that's what I use for food and buffs. This is my gear setup. It's not optimal at all. As you can see, I stinking intellect on a cloak, but I really wasn't min-maxing. I was just going for it. For the talents, I use Bristling Fur. I use Wild Charge to get into the Inquisitor quickly to interrupt the Drain Life. I use Balance Affinity because it was really essential, and I'll explain why during the video. It gives all of your melee abilities range, so that's really nice. Yeah, your mangles 10 yards, 16 yards for thrash, 13 yards for swipe, and then maul is just melee. So that's all good. I really like having that, and we'll go over it. I used Mighty Bash for an interrupt on the Inquisitor, and it actually saved me with Cruel as well. I wasn't ready for an Annihilate, so I used Mighty Bash, and it saved my life. Galactic Guardian to buff Moonfire, as that's going to be one of your main damaging abilities on the Inquisitor in the first phase. Guardian of Elune, I considered going with Survival of the Fittest, but in the end I decided that Guardian of Elune would be better for me, as I get more use consistently throughout the fight from it. And then in the last tier, I used Rend and Tear. So that's the talents I used. This is the gear I used. I do have the tier 24 set, and honestly, I have a Raid Finder piece just to complete the 4 set. So as you can see, my gear is not optimized. You could do this easily with this gear, other than the T24 set. You could do this easily before the before 725. So that is my situation with the gear and enchants and consumables. Now let's get right into the fight. Okay, so here we go. I have my flask on. I am about to pop Prolonged. I have some of the main things marked. I pull with a Moonfire, and I go all the way back. I bring the Inquisitor right into melee range of Velen because he will attack. And what you're going to see is I just get a little bit of DPS in, very little. I only have 2 stacks of the debuff, and I'm going to stay primarily on the outside of the circle unless I have to go into interrupt. So with the eyes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply Moonfire them, as they only die for Moonfire damage. And when these ads spawn, that's typically when I save my artifact ability to get that extra DPS down on them. And this is why I really liked going with the ranged talent, because I basically run away from them while they do that channel, because that channel, if you stand in it, especially with more than one, it's going to be lethal and very fast. You're going to be dead. It's over. If you use a melee ability on one of them, one of your other than Moonfire, I found Moonfire, if you did Moonfire, that one Nether Horror would aggro to you, but the other ones would go to Valen, and you do not want that. So if you melee them early on, I find that they all just aggro to you, and it's pretty much no problem. Sometimes that wasn't the case, but for the most part, like right there, I used one melee ability and it went on them. Sometimes I use that thing, just the orbs from Velen, just to kind of reset and get myself in a stable situation. But as you can see there, every time those Nether Horrors spawn, all I do is I make sure that I get aggro on them, because they'll kill Velen quick if they get on him. And then I am simply running around in a circle as fast as I can. The Bear Tartar comes in handy because as soon as you kill the first Nether Horror, you're going to speed up and they're not going to be able to catch you. But because you have the ranged talents, you're going to be able to DPS them down without them hitting you. So as far as DPS goes on the Inquisitor, I'm literally just moonfiring and thrashing on the outside of the circle. And here we go again. I'm on the outside, just doing my 360 abilities on them. And then I'm just thrashing and moonfiring Inquisitor down. Again, with the eyes, whenever I see the eyes spawn, I just moonfire them down. I find if it doesn't crit or it's not procced, it'll take about 2 casts to get them killed. You basically just do not want to be getting knocked back by them. So I just try to clean them up. It's not a DPS race in this phase. It's just a matter of getting through it safely. I found out of all the tanks, honestly, this was the easiest one to get through the first phase on. I had difficulty with Cruel in the second phase, and actually it was mobility. It was a mobility thing. I don't know why, but that's where I spent most of my wipes, was not getting out of the green circle. But anyway, so I'm doing the same thing with the Nether Horrors. I'm just making sure I have aggro on them. I am kiting them around, doing thrash and mangle, and then the eyes, you just, as soon as you see them pop up, just try to moonfire at this point. Oh, do I DPS it? Yeah, I do. But typically what I'll do is I'll just try to ignore. I think I was waiting for the Nether Horrors to spawn. I was trying to get them all killed so I could get Cruel for a little bit just by himself. Whenever he does his drain life, I just use my charge and I get in there and I either use my bash or my just regular interrupt. And now Cruel is down. I already made sure I had aggro on the Nether Horrors. And at this point, I want to try to never stop moving. So I actually overextended myself there, and this is where you're going to want to use your drums and your other pot, the Old War. So this is where I took the most damage, as you see there, getting out of that green stuff. I do have Stampeding Roar, but it's on cooldown, and I had a difficult time getting out of that. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get aggro on the Nether Horrors, and I'm trying to just move around. I use the circles, again, just to stabilize, and I use it to take advantage and kill that pack of adds. So there's the first Annihilate. It does almost nothing. That might actually be the second Annihilate. I'm not sure. I think I got a total of 4 Annihilates here. But I just tried to... If I knew no ability was coming, I would, stand still and try to get some DPS. That was a really dangerous moment. I got lucky with the orb there, right outside the green circle. So right here, I'm going to grab adds, and I should be moving out further to the outside of the room because I don't want them to start doing their channel right on top of Valen. Although I want to stay close to Valen because I want those orbs easily accessible. So I'm using Iron Fur at this point as much as I can, where I didn't really use it in the first phase. And I'm using Frenzied Regeneration as much as possible when I take spike damage. Compared to the amount of damage that I was taking here, Frenzied Regeneration really didn't seem like too much, but definitely for the Annihilates, I was making sure I had an Iron Fur up, and then I was trying to use my Survival Instinct, Cooldown, and Bark Skin for an Annihilate if I could. So there I was getting low. I went and used an Orb when I really felt like I needed it. And this is where it's getting interesting because this is where I found that I was dying. So I just stunned. I did a bash on Cruel there, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I wasn't ready for that Annihilate, so I used a bash. I got super low there. I popped an orb to reset, so now I have a long time before the next Annihilate. And at this point, I knew I was going to get the kill, but it's just a matter of always stay moving. I actually didn't really like my my path that I took, and I almost died there. But that's the nature of this challenge. So just keep moving. Stay out of those green circles. And the nice thing is you can always keep moving and DPSing as a Guardian with all the AoE you have. So that was the big thing. And just make sure you get aggro on those Nether Horrors. Do not let them get on Valen. Keep Iron Fur up. And then for I would say the third and fourth Annihilation, you definitely want to have Survival Instincts going for those. Save your Survival Instincts for that, or your Bark Skin for that, because you want to mitigate that initial hit, then use Frenzied Regen immediately after, or pop an orb like I did. And if you have to, if you're not ready for it, go ahead and use your bash, go use a stun, whatever you have available to you. And that's how you're going to get it done. In the first phase for mitigation, really all I did was Frenzied Regeneration. That was it, because we don't have magic mitigation anymore. But as you can see, it really wasn't that big of a deal, not having the Mark of Versal. So there you have it. That's the challenge right there. In an ideal world, I would have liked to circle around a wide circle around Velen, but I just didn't do it that way. I ended up getting it, but I thought overall my movement path was pretty sloppy. So that is the artifact challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it helpful. If you have any questions, definitely hit me up like always. And thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Boom. Achievement. 3 out of 6 down, 3 to go.